Welcome back to the SU Gang podcast. Today is January 13th, 2023. We are awaiting the
Oh, wow.
wildcard games, and we have a lot of news coming out of the NFL with Pete Carroll stepping down. Even though this isn't from the NFL, Nick Saban retires, Bill Belichick and the Patriots part ways. What's next with the Bears? Do they keep Eberflus? Do they not? They fired Luke Getsey, and Wink Martindale's blow up with the Giants, and how's that's going to affect the coaching standpoint that the Giants are going to go have moving forward. So yeah, it's been an interesting week in the NFL. What do you guys think?
You
You can go
It's
first.
on Pete Carroll being fired. I mean, for you, man.
Well, I do have an immediate reaction to this, which I would post, but at the end of the day, I am thankful for all he's done. And at first, I didn't immediately process it because I didn't think Jordy Allen and ownership actually had the balls to fire him because Seattle's a team that sometimes hesitates a bit on change, but it turns out they did. And I think at the end of the day, it was the right decision. He's getting older. I appreciate his locker room and culture and what he's done for us. He is our best coach, undoubtedly, that we've ever had. But at the end of the day, we have been stuck. And this is what I said in my reaction to. We have not made it past the divisional round since the LOB, and we in general just haven't really won a playoff game. We haven't won a playoff game since 2019. And last year we overachieved. So the 9-8 and wild card ass kicking was completely understandable. In fact, it was an overachievement. But this year we reloaded on defense, and we honestly, in my opinion, are a top 10 roster, yet we missed the playoffs, and we're just really disappointing after finishing 6-3. And it was exactly the same script as last year, just with different expectations and a better roster. So I think, especially for a more defensive minded guy, I have seen this team be really bad in the pass defense. We've ranked 24th to 32nd in terms of a lot of defensive stats, along with leading the league for the most missed tackles near the end of the season. So overall, our defense just really needs work. And at first it was like, oh, you address it with just reloading at, positions, which we did, but it still hasn't worked. And Pete is more of a defensive guy. And on top of that, the offense has sometimes had its goofs. So at the end of the day, you got to just look at coaching. And I think for just Pete being a more defensive minded guy, plus having some older philosophies, it was, I think, the right move to move on from him. Well, I miss him, obviously. And this firing, he's technically an advisor now, will entirely depend. This decision will be reflected better depending on who they bring in. Now, Seattle has a really good roster, especially offense. And Geno Smith, I don't think is not the problem. In fact, I think they should keep him for another year and maybe draft a guy to bridge. But we could get Jim Harbaugh, we could get Mike Vrabel. We also could get Ben Johnson, the Lions OC. And there's one more guy I'm missing. I don't think Belichick comes over here, but yeah, there's one more guy I'm missing here.
Yeah.
But overall, it's crazy. It's a big moment, but Dan Quinn. Yes, of course. It will be crazy if he returns. He was our defensive coordinator in the LOB era and since 2015.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, and on top of that, they I don't mean to ramble on here, but they also told the OC and DC they could look for jobs elsewhere. In fact, the Bears want to interview our OC for the OC job. And frankly, I'm just pretty surprised Seattle was willing to clean house to this level. And I think they are really showing that they want to win and not be stuck at mediocrity, which I think they would have been ultimately if we kept Pete Carroll and our coaching staff. Now, I wanted Clint Hurtt, the DC, gone first. And Shane Waldron was actually the guy I wanted to maybe keep for one more year out of him, Pete, and Shane and the DC. But it is what it is. we're also giving apparently full autonomy to whoever comes in to choose their coaching staff. So I think it really will just depend who we bring in, but there is a chance the future could be bright for a new head coach and a new scheme. Whoever walks in will definitely get a good team. So yeah, those are my thoughts. It's definitely been crazy. One of the main goats has left, and there's just been so much that happened that Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I could understand how you feel. This is all more off topic because this is about my team now. This is different. There's a difference between this is why the Seahawks and the Bears are very different. Seahawks are competitive, the Bears are poverty. The Seahawks are right here, the Bears are right here. All right. And there's the reason why the Seahawks have the balls to fire a coach that they've had for so long, that they've went to 2 Super Bowls with, that they've went to so many playoff appearances with. Meanwhile, the Bears, a team that has a coach that is currently 10-24 with the Bears, have the balls to keep him, not fire him, and think that it's going to get better. Like, how idiotic can this organization be? Like, how idiotic? Like I swear, I wonder if they're on drugs. Like, I literally want them to be drug tested, because it's like, how are you this stupid? How are you this stupid to keep a guy that you choked so many games with, in which you went 7-10 this year, and you think, oh, that's improvement. But you could have won 10 games, and who lost you those games? Oh, yeah, the guy that has terrible clock management, the guy that folds with his play calling in big situations, the guy that choked all those games, the guy that hired Luke Getsey, the guy that hired Alan Williams, the defensive coordinator who resigned due to freaking stupid stuff.
Wait, when was that?
That
It
was in
like
September.
October.
Oh,
Dude,
okay.
the
Wait, who's your guy
guy,
now, though? Who's your guy now, though?
he's the defense coordinator. We don't have
Okay.
one. So he is, and I'll
Oh,
give him
okay,
credit. He's a
okay.
good defensive play caller. Yes, I'll give him credit for that. But in big situations, he folds. In winning teams, they don't fold in big situations. So we're not going to be a winning team. And that's the thing. This team, this organization, they can't get that through their heads. They cannot. They can't. And it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Not so we're gonna ruin Caleb Williams' career, all right? Justin Fields' career, it's over. It's over. All right. So now we're gonna draft Caleb Williams, and I hate that guy. I hate him with a passion. But now I have to like him, right? So a way for me to like him is okay, and a way for me to think he can be a good quarterback in this league is okay, maybe we give him the weapons he needs, but maybe we give him the right coaching staff. You're giving him the wrong coaching staff. This is the same thing that happened with Justin Fields. It's the same fucking thing. It's the same thing, bro. Okay, so before we drafted Justin, right? We
Matt
had
Nagy.
Matt Nagy, in which
And then you
we
fired
were
him his
going.
rookie year, right?
It's the same thing with the Giants with Daniel Jones.
No,
It's the
yeah,
same
there's
thing.
a whole Bears spin cycle here where you have a guy, he should have been fired, and then rookie year, you get a new quarterback, right? And then you still keep that dumb coach, and then a year later you fire him, and then you make him
You
learn 2
fire
or 3
them.
different teams. Boom,
You
we're like,
fire
what?
them. That's
Like
what
honestly,
we're gonna do.
honestly,
That's what we're gonna do.
okay. So
No,
here's my
no.
thoughts. Okay.
Can I say something?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's very similar with what the Giants had in 2019 with Daniel Jones. So Dave Gettleman and Pat Shurmur, they draft Daniel Jones. I don't think Pat Shurmur wanted Daniel Jones. Maybe he did. I have no clue.
Pat Shurmur's a
And
terrorist. Ask Broncos fans.
dealt with him for 2 years, so I would know. But Pat Shurmur, so Daniel Jones statistically touchdown to interception 2-1 in his rookie year, 3,000 yards, 24 touchdowns. Then they fire Pat Shurmur. They keep Dave Gettleman, who I wanted gone after 2019. He was awful. He was an okay drafter. He drafted Dexter Lawrence, Xavier McKinney, Andrew Thomas, but he's had some terrible draft picks. But then you keep Dave Gettleman, you hire Joe Judge. I have terrible nightmares from Joe Judge. Then it's like they can't do anything right. This like it's the Bears and Giants are very similar in the fact that the Giants need to get rid of Daniel Jones. They need to get rid of him. We need to get rid of him. He's so bad. No offense, Daniel, but
Can't get their
um,
head out of their own ass. And it's like it's the big look, Matt Eberflus gonna get fired next year. And Caleb
Wait,
Williams is
wait,
gonna be
wait.
our rookie. And Caleb Williams is gonna throw like 7 touchdowns. He's gonna throw like 15 interceptions. He's gonna throw for like 1,000 yards. And everybody's gonna say, "Oh, I'm very concerned for Caleb Williams. He has weapons around him." But maybe he doesn't have the right coaching staff. You know why? Because I can't trust Matt Eberflus to hire the offensive coordinator, the right offensive coordinator. He's not going to hire Shane Waldron. He's not going to hire Clint Kubiak. He's going to hire freaking Greg Roman. He's going to hire freaking Frank Reich, and they're going to be fired next year as well. I cannot stand this fucking team. This team affects my mental health. They make me want to jump off a window that's 500 feet in the fucking air, man. I hate this team so much. I hate this organization, and this organization doesn't care. They don't care about winning. They don't. They don't even care. They don't care about their fans. They don't care about winning. They don't care about making their stadium good. Our stadium sucks.
it's the same with the Giants and the Maras.
Bro, our stadium, the bathrooms in our stadium don't even have running water for the sinks.
That's some FedEx level shit. That's some FedEx level shit.
You can't even, bro.
Wait, how long did you know that? Like, did you just straight up go to the last game and you're like,
last time I went there in the Bears Falcons game, I went to the bathroom. Which, by the way, there's no urinals there. There's only freaking toilets. I know it's kind of weird that I'm talking about bathrooms in a podcast, but it's like,
no, it's okay. We know FedEx Field is shit. I mean, they had sewage water leak on them.
Bro, it's like, what the hell? And I try to wash my hands, and like I go to every single sink. I don't get a drop of water. Not one. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like, these owners are the worst. These owners are the worst owners in the history of the NFL. And no, I'm not talking about Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love. I'm not joking right now about, the Packers owners. No, I'm talking about the McCaskies, the worst owners in all of major sports, in all of professional sports. I have never seen owners care about their fans less than the Bears. Like, I swear, they treat Bears fans like crap. They treat them so horribly. And I want this team sold. I will never, ever, 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 ever trust this team until they sell. Never. I knew that they wouldn't have the balls to fire Matt Eberflus and hire a guy like Jim Harbaugh or Mike Vrabel, all these head coaches available. And you somehow think that Matt Eberflus is better than all of them, even though the guy's 10-24 and he folds in big situations, which is why the Bears are going to choke a lot of games next year. Like, oh my God. And he's not even going to hire Shane Waldron. He's going to ruin Caleb Williams' career. Caleb Williams is going to be ruined. He's going to be a bust. It's going to be a Mac. I hate to see him. I can't.
Wait, here's one thing though. Like, I feel like, yes, I totally agree with you. The OC is going to basically widely depend, whoever it is going to widely depend on Caleb Williams' future and the Bears' future, because they do this shit every time. It's like reading the same book and you expect a different outcome. But Shane Waldron, I don't hate him as much as other Seahawks fans do. I think he gets too much harsh treatment. I'm not saying he's the best guy for you, but for an OC, I think he could be. I think him or Kubiak will be great for him. Mm-hmm. As long as you just don't go through like 3 different schemes, maybe Williams could be good. I feel like Williams is going to be a bust or one of the faces of the NFL because, again, with these coaching things especially, and just quarterbacks retiring the last few years, we are truly seeing a new era of football.
Hold on. Yeah. He might be one of the faces of the NFL, but he's going to be probably the most hated player in the NFL, dude. His ego, his personality.
Especially if he takes that to the NFL, he's going to get shit on, bro.
He's going to be the most hated NFL.
Imagine he went to like the Jets or the Giants. The media would tear him in, dude. Like that media is even worse. Like that's what they were talking about when Zach Wilson was there. But
yeah, but Zach Wilson wasn't that bad. I know he said like one time he didn't feel bad for the defense. But like outside of that though, he has never
that was a
really
little misworded.
Yeah, that was but like he's never like really like demanded ownership for a team and painted his nails and all this stuff. I cannot
Yeah,
stand Caleb Williams, but I have to like him. I'm forced to like
yeah.
him. I
And
hate
this
him
kind
with a
of
passion.
the
I hate
whole
him so.
ownership is also reminding me a bit of Seattle, and it will also heavily depend on what they do. Because, like, for example, they had Ken Norton Jr. as the DC for way too long before Quinn, and they seem to have a habit of hiring in. So not only is the Pete Carroll firing very unusual for them, it's also unusual that they are willing to let whoever the new head coach is have autonomy because again, they hired their DC from within after they fired Ken Norton. So again, we'll see how it is. I just see it as Seattle making a major move on the chessboard, a bold one and a shock to some fans. But I think people who watch the game more closely are a little like this was the right thing, as sad as we are. And
Old
we'll see what they do.
organizations are
They
winning
better not
organizations.
fuck. They better not fuck this up because clearly they show they're about moving forward and not being stuck in the same place from this. But anyway, is there any? I think one
Frank
other.
Martindale also that
Yeah.
situations with the Giants was a complete mess.
Wait, I actually have thoughts on one thing. So you know how we talked about with the Bears, they have different schemes ruining a guy. I think another situation that's really similar is Mac Jones.
He
This is
sucks.
just okay, but like here's my opinion. Here's my opinion. I might be a bit of an advocate, but bro had a good year, rookie year with Josh McDaniels, and then had to go through Joe Judge and Matt Patricia, and then Bill O'Brien. He
Yeah.
he also kind of went through a similar scenario where he was suddenly forced into like 3 million, like three different, OCs and schemes. I feel like at the end of the day, that's kind of gonna ruin a guy. And I also think that like in 5 years, I feel like his career is gonna be a little bit more shit on than it does. Maybe I'm just talking to a wall here, but I think the Bears, what they're doing with their quarterbacks and what they did with Jones are kind of similar situations because you have a head coach, Belichick and Eberflus, very defensive guys. They need a good OC for their team to run a good offense, hence have a good team in the first place. So I don't know. I just see a couple parallels
This is
there.
why when you draft the quarterback, having a defensive minded head coach is the worst thing you could do. It just any young quarterback, we're gonna
You need
ruin
a
him
good
just like
OC
we
to
were gonna
back him
draft
up,
Fields.
basically. Like I feel like it worked with Mac Jones for his rookie year, and then yeah, it kind of just fell off.
We're about to be the
Yeah,
most hated team too, since we're gonna have Caleb Williams. So the hate's just gonna continue, man. I hate this team so much. I sometimes I wish this team just didn't exist. Like this team doesn't deserve
Yeah,
existence. Like like fuck Soldier Field and fuck the Bears. Like I hate this team. I hate the fact that they even exist.
yeah.
Like the fact that they exist is so bad. And I want to talk about like Green Bay real quick. Do I like them? No. But they are a competent organization. They continuously show why we will never, ever, ever be on their level in our lives ever again. Like we will never be on their level. They consistently find quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. Their stadium is way better than ours. They care about their fans more than our owners do. They don't even have an owner. That's the thing. But still, their organization, just in general, like
They have
it's just
they have Mark Murphy as the CEO, and then yeah,
yeah,
everyone gets their
Mark
own
Murphy.
yeah.
Who
stock.
cares more
I have
about
a
the
part of
team?
shared ownership of the Packers in my room. It's in my
Really?
room. Yeah,
Damn, that's
Crazy.
my uncle.
crazy, bro.
My uncle got it for me for Christmas when I was like 5 in 2011. It's addressed to me and my brother.
That's really
Uh,
But
cool. But
and
when
you
you
guys
get
ended up beating
the
them in the divisional round.
Yep, that was fun. But like
yeah,
the same thing with the Bears and Giants being poverty since 2011, we've had so I'm not going to include that. If I include that season, like 2 out of the last 13 seasons, I think we've had a positive point differential. We we've gone through like since Tom Coughlin was fired, we've had Ben McAdoo. Well, he didn't step down. Ben McAdoo, Steve Spagnuolo as the interim. Then we have who else? Shermer, Judge, and Dable. That's 5 coaches in a 7-year time frame. It's terrible. It's And with this situation with Wing Martindale, he was mad that the Giants fired his like right hand guys,
without
Kevin
telling him.
Wilkins. Yeah, I mean, but there's like a reason why, because like our edge rushers were like, I think Jihad Ward, who is not very good, but I like him. He's that they can't win on the edge. And yes, Kayvon Thibodeau statistically had a good year, and I think there's a lot of upside, but you have to find like with young pass rushers, you have to find the right person to like mold them into the player that they become, that they like want to become. Like I was
Mm.
watching the America's game with the Giants, and Bill Parcells became the linebackers coach when the Lawrence Taylor, I think, was drafted. And that would, I mean, obviously Lawrence Taylor was insanely talented, but I think Parcells helped him. He helped mold Taylor into the player he is. But Wink Martindale literally stormed out, cursed out Dable. Like this organization is such a joke. The Maras are
Yeah.
so dumb. The Maras are so dumb. They wanted to keep Eli Manning after he was not very like I love Eli Manning. He's one of my favorite players ever. But he was past his prime. They never fixed the offensive line, and they took Saquon Barkley at number 2. I was happy when they took him, but this was such a bad pick in hindsight. Like I love
Wait,
Mhm.
Saquon,
so wait,
but
so you agree with them getting rid of this linebackers coach?
yes,
Okay. And
I
now you're
think
going to a different point that the organization's bad. Okay, got it.
it's incompetent. It's I
You
mean,
kind
and
of
Xavier
just jumped
McKinney.
to them like they were hand in hand, so
I mean, and Xavier McKinney said he wasn't going to resign. He would not consider resigning if Wink Martindale was the defensive coordinator. And I would if if it's losing Wink Martindale and losing Xavier McKinney, I'm choosing Wink Martindale. I think Xavier McKinney is way too valuable to this team. I think I think a fair contract for him would be around like 4 years, maybe 60 million, 56 million. I don't
for
know.
McKinney,
Yeah, because he's three
yeah, okay.
interceptions.
Yeah, so both you guys have a lot in common. You guys also have young defenses who I think definitely in a lot of aspects shined. Giants have a nice secondary and team. Thibodeau had a good year. And then the Bears, the Packers game, they couldn't stop Aaron Jones for shit, but they definitely had some bright spots. So that's probably why the Bears wanted to keep him. So yeah, if you're a Bears fan, you just gotta pray you have a really good OC, and then you can make something work like the Pats. That's typically how it works with defensive guys. So we'll just
Mhm.
see how it works. But historically, offensive guys are a little better. But I mean, we've seen guys like Pete also who are more defensive, like succeed for a while, and Belichick. But we'll see how it goes. I also think with the whole like QB and draft pick situation, it just makes like the Bears could make some really good moves or costly, like, and
Yeah,
the Packers
I
game just made it so like I don't know what this team's gonna do.
I checked on Sports Track for McKinney's. So they said the market value they put was 5 years, 52 million, which I think is fair. But I don't know if 5 years is honestly good because it's like I mean I think that's fair. Maybe 5 years, 65 million for McKinney. I wouldn't be mad about that, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I hope they extend him because if not, I'm punching a hole through my wall.
But
Yeah.
he
How
wants
I
he
feel like
wants
I
the
want to do right
DC
now.
out though, right? He wants the DC
Well,
out.
yeah, he wanted him out,
Okay. So
which
you
I
can
can
lose
understand.
one of those valuable guys basically.
I mean, I want McKinney back. So I
But
mean,
you want Martindale over him.
no, I want McKinney over Martindale.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I think, and like the defense was so bad the first 5 weeks of the season. They said the defense is also like one of the most complicated in football. So it's like I don't want to start off slow and then, granted, since week 5, going into week 5, we hadn't forced a turnover, but since week 5, we forced 30 turnovers, which in that time period it was the most in the NFL. So, but doesn't matter if you force turnovers and your offense is completely anemic and feeble like ours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick thoughts on Bill Belichick parting ways with the Pats after 24
Wait,
seasons.
actually, we're about to like have a 7-minute thing, so I was gonna do that another segment like after this. I'll cut it. Don't worry. But do you guys have any like outside thoughts on Pete? Because I feel like we all shared our thoughts on our other guys, but I kind of didn't give you guys time to have your thoughts on Pete Carroll like leaving.
Um,
I went on that tangent and then we just kind of stopped.
I mean, I didn't see it coming, honestly, but I mean, I'm not surprised it happened. I mean, Pete Carroll was obviously a great coach for the Seahawks, and look, if I could have a coach like Pete Carroll on the Giants that brings them to the playoffs, like what, 10 times out of his
11 out of 14.
I would take that in a heartbeat because
Basically, a franchise coach. Such thing
Yeah,
as a
no, he
franchise
is
quarterback,
one.
you have a franchise coach. That's also
Yeah.
something the Bears can't do. They
since
don't
Pete
have a
Carroll
franchise.
since Pete Carroll took over the Seahawks, the Giants have made the playoffs 3 times.
Bro, I want to throw this camera so far. Like I God, I'm so angry right now, man. Like,
Yeah,
and
no.
my thoughts are just the Seahawks are a good organization. The Bears suck, and you did the right thing. Okay, he's a great coach. You have a franchise coach. You're gonna have another franchise coach. Just watch, it's gonna happen. Fucking Seahawks right
Yeah.
here, right here.
Yo, calm down. That you're
All the
overhyping
way.
that.
And then
Okay,
the Bears.
yeah, yeah. Okay, we get it. Okay,
Seahawks here, Seahawks here, Giants here, Bears here.
let's hope, because again, here's the thing, right? The grass might not always be greener, and that's something like other guys like Richard Sherman commented on, and it's a very good point. It's going to heavily depend on who we bring in, but people are going to forget that like we would have had an 8-8 slash losing record the last 3 years and missed the playoffs if we didn't have that like week 18 where people would play. So in hindsight, yeah, it was the right move because we were starting to really go in a downward direction. But yeah, of course, we love Pete. I'm happy he's still an advisor here. He has a great energy, and he and John Schneider have had like really good draft moves these last couple of
Yeah,
years. But
John
let's
Snyder's
just
doing a
hope we
great
can
job.
change. I just really hope whoever we bring in can work out. I've seen stuff about
Mhm.
predicting Mike Vrabel here, which again, I'd totally be happy with, like Jim Harbaugh, Mike Vrabel, Dan Quinn, Ben Johnson. Like I would love any of those guys. There's a lot
Mhm.
of
Yeah.
options here. I just hope it's a more offensive-ish minded guy, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Um,
My football team makes me depressed. I want the Cubs season to start right now because that's the only team that knows how to like actually cares about me. That's the only team that actually cares about me. You
Yeah,
know. And
the
then
Knicks make me.
same for the Yankees. Same for the Yankees in a way. In a way.
No, the Yankees are very incompetent. Hal Steinbrenner's an idiot. Cashman's an idiot. He should have been fired a long time ago. And why did we keep Boone? Oh my gosh, Boone is so bad. If they don't win the World Series this year, fire everybody.
Yeah, I guess so, man.
I mean, we
But I
got
can't.
Stroman, but I know Hal's incompetent ass is going to be, oh, we've made moves. We've only spent like $20 million when the Dodgers literally spent $1 billion this offseason.
That
It's
is
not.
so.
this
I can't,
guy,
man.
this
That is so
that
stupid.
I just looked up that dude and remembered who he was. Again, I don't know much about baseball, but that guy looks like a guy I might want to punch in the face. I
Who?
know that's
Hal Steinbrenner?
no
Or
Boone.
yes, yes, he's so annoying.
He's my Nick Sirianni of the MLB.
He is so annoying. He is so annoying. I can't stand him. And they should have fired him after 2022, after that horrendous collapse where the team started 52-17 and then finished 99-63. They
Oh
were
God, that is a collapse.
like we were projected to win the most games, but the offense terrible this season. Jason Dominguez tears his UCL after 10 games. Why can't I ever have joy with my teams? The Knicks are actually have been decent lately.
All right, so moving on, we have the two big elephants in the room. Bill Belichick agreeing to part ways with the Pats. I don't think Robert Kraft would ever be like, you're fired. They would just agree, hey, this is not, working out anymore. and Nick Saban retiring. And I think Nick Saban, it really just has the aspect of the NIL deals and transfer portal influencing so much. Like,
100%.
yeah, like for example, Matt Rule, I know he was garbage on the Panthers, but he said like it's minimum $2 million a year to get a good quarterback in college, which is also telling Nebraska or Utah or wherever he coaches to pay up more for a coach, or sorry, for a quarterback. And also the transfer portal. Like I know Boulder's taking advantage of that, and it's going to affect
Oh yeah.
Bama's recruiting. So I think it really just shows like I think that was a big influence in Nick Saban retiring because it's a new aspect of trying to attract players to your team. Now, of course, Bama still got the UW head coach, so they got a good replacement, but like it definitely could affect Alabama's coaching in the future. And I'm not a college football expert, but my Boulder friend, he has been seeing guys transfer to Boulder and choose Boulder over Bama and these other teams that are just willing to shell out more money than Alabama. So like we could see almost an end slash a little bit of a fall off from Bama in terms of like them being this elite team that wins every year. Now I still think they're a Final Four contender, but
I think they're still going to be good, man. They
yeah,
got
they will still be. They have a great
forward.
O lineman. Their O line is heavier than most NFL O lines. It's like nuts. They have great O
NIL is ruining
linemen,
college
great
sports.
receivers, great running backs.
The NIL is ruining college sports.
No,
It's
I think it is
basically
to a degree.
it's
It's
basically
even
an
more
auction
expensive.
if you think about it. It's an auction for these players. It's like, oh, USC is giving me $5 million to play here, but Texas is giving me $5.5 million to play here. I'll go to Texas and I'll live in an apartment in Fort Worth and then go to class and then like I feel
Do you
like
see Caleb Williams' mansion, dude? It's like, or
I
not mansion,
know
like
it
penthouse.
looks
Like, it's crazy what they're. I will say, though, it does also, I think, bridge the gap between NFL and college. Because if we look at why Nick Saban didn't really do well in the NFL, I think part of the reason is it's a difference between a job slash college kids trying to prove themselves. So you used to have a lot more authority as a head coach as a college guy because these guys were getting paid, next to nothing compared to what they are now. And just the whole but now it's more like a straight up business. So it's making it more like the NFL. So I feel like in the future it also could these new young college coaches could have a better chance of succeeding the NFL solely because you have to the way that you would treat your players in college versus NFL was so different, but now it's starting to, bridge together. So we're seeing a new era of college football. I do agree it is ruining it though, because like I will say some programs can afford it, but like it's just going to
but
be
it
really tough for some schools to get good guys.
no it completely you're completely right. And it's like I don't know, that's why in a way I'm kind of staying away from college football.
I
Like
don't
I
really watch college football to begin with, besides the playoffs.
yeah, like
Yeah, that's
that's
fair too.
I haven't even paid attention as much to the draft besides like QBs and a few guys, frankly, this year compared to others. Like, I'll probably do my draft research later, but it is what it is. But anyway,
Yeah.
going to Bill Belichick. Um, what do you guys think about him leaving? Because I think he could still be a great coach in loaded rosters like the Chargers and stuff. But there's the whole debate about like the impact of Brady and also like his main weaknesses. I think, for example, he's not a good GM or an offensive guy. We've seen that he's kind of like a defensive guy who needs a decent OC to function as a competent team. And also the Patriot way seems to be dying. We've seen that in recent years. So I
mm,
think letting go of the Patriot way is a big thing he's going to have to do. And he relies on he needs a good OC and offense to like really do well. So he's still a great defensive guy, but I think he has some obvious weaknesses. Also, do not give him GM power. He has been horrible at drafting.
Yeah,
not
Bill Belichick, the head coach, is great. Bill Belichick, the GM, yikes.
not so much.
Like he could still go to the Chargers, but also the thing with Brady and Belichick, I disagree with the people that say Brady made Belichick because while he has done better, you also look at the offensive quality and offensive coordinators like Matt Patricia and Joe Judge that he brought in. It really just shows he needs a good OC, and I think they did make each other because Brady has had some of the best defenses in terms of consistency and special teams. Like he's had some of the best
Yeah.
starting field position out of quarterbacks we've seen since 2000. Overall, I think they both made each other and wouldn't succeed without the other. So like
That's
it
true.
really just, I will say, Brady has had a tremendous impact on his legacy. He wouldn't be the guy he is without him. But it's also, I think, the same with Brady. So I really hate the people saying, "Oh, Bill Brady was the only thing that Bill had that made him good." Like I think that's bullshit. He's still a great defensive guy, and with the rosters we've seen in recent years, they still have a good defense. They can still upset people. They've upset the Bills this year with Mac frickin' Jones and Bailey Zappi. Even Bailey Zappi looked good against us.
They made the playoffs with Mac Jones in his first
Yeah,
year.
exactly. I mean, did we absolutely obliterate the crap out of them? And their one win against Buffalo that year was because our weather was so bad it was unthrowable? Yes. But still, you had a competent sixth seeded team. So
And they fought
it's
for
all
a playoff spot
relative.
in 2022.
What'd you say?
And they fought for a playoff spot in 2022.
Yeah, exactly. And they made the playoffs as a fifth seed still. So yeah, overall, wherever he goes, it'll be interesting. But he needs to just give up the Patriot way. He still can. There's the whole question of if you go somewhere, do you give him full autonomy? Obviously, I don't think so. Like you can't give him GM authority.
Yep.
But how much influence?
Wait, Bobby, what'd you say? Because you like lagged out
I
there.
don't think he should, but I don't think he should have GM. But like,
He probably
I've
won't.
always no, but how much does the head coach play in on making the decision on who to draft? Like,
It's pretty significant with the GM, but the Patriots, I think, gave more power than the average team just because of his legacy there. And it really shows why legacy can be a weakness, especially when
and they've
he's
had
been
some
coaching in
wins.
2 different eras, which again is impressive. It's so impressive that Brady and Bill won 3 rings in completely 2 different eras, but still,
So they took Tyquan Thornton. I remember when they took him in 2022, which was a complete reach, I think. Like,
yeah, and
I'm
also
not a
they
draft
their
expert,
receivers
but this
drafting
guy.
is horrible. It's horrible,
So
bro.
they took Tyquan Thornton on mock draft based simulator, was the 130th graded prospect. The Patriots, I think, took him like at 40 something. Maybe I'm wrong.